ఓకేనా? వాయిస్ వినిపిస్తుందమ్మా? ఓకే, లెట్స్ స్టార్ట్. ఓకే, I think with yesterday, which concepts are covered and completed? Resignation and removal. So, some students might have some sort of confusion with respect to what kind of topics which we have covered so far. So, this is the entire structure of directors and KMP chapter. Entire structure. So, first of all, director and its meaning. Second, minimum number, maximum number. Next, types of directors. Next, qualifications and disqualifications. Next, appointment, reappointment and rotation. So with respect to appointment, reappointment, rotation, these 3 points are duplicated. Point number 5 to point number 8. If you remember, those points will talk about additional director, alternate director, independent director, which we have already discussed in types of directors. So why I am specifically mentioning about these duplicated points are some students might tend to confusion with respect to duplicacy of the matter. Why this concept is again and again coming? That is why I am giving the clarity. Okay, so after that, DIN. I think we have completed DIN, right? Next, resignation and removal. So these are the chapters which we have covered so far. Have you got the clarity with respect to our so far discussion? Clear? Next, what are all the pending topics? Remuneration. Next, powers and duties of directors. Next, KMP. KMP. KMP is a part and parcel of directors which we are going to discuss in tomorrow morning session. I think timetable has been okay, right. Next one. Some 3 topics are there, minute topics, A, B, C. A talks about 184, section 184, POI, particulars of interest in other entities. I think yesterday only we have completed that concept. Next one, 185, loans to directors. So I think A completed, only B and C are pending. B talks about loans to directors. C talks about conflict of interests. C talks about, so if we completed this box, the total concepts which relates to directors and KMP will be successfully completed, which we are going to complete by tomorrow end of the session. Have you got the clarity with respect to so far discussion? First of all, directors, minimum number, maximum number, types, qualifications and disqualification, appointment, reappointment, rotation, DIN, resignation and removal. If anybody is having any sort of confusion with respect to this chapter, if you refer to this 2 or 3 minutes discussion, you will get full clarity among the chapter. Clear? So this is our today's topic. What is our today's topic? Remuneration. If we are able to complete this remuneration topic, we are in line with our deadline. It is enough. Okay, I don't want to discuss anything more than remuneration today. Why? Because it is such a tricky topic. Okay, so listen carefully. Today's session is one of the important session. I think so far we have discussed some complicated topics, complicated issues. Say for example, in case of reappointment of independent director, in case of reappointment, not appointment, in case of reappointment, that means first term or second term? Second term. In case of reappointment of independent director, which resolution is required? Special resolution. Ordinarily, I mean generally, for appointment of director, which resolution is required? Ordinary resolution. But this is the complicated point. This is the tricky point. Which resolution is required? Special resolution. Likewise, another complicated points are also there in section 164(1) and 2. What does 164(1) and 2 talks about? 164(1) and 164(2) and 164(3) talks about disqualifications of director. In case of disqualification of director also we have complicated points, right? Example, not imprisonment. Imprisonment is not that much complicated point. The complicated point with respect to disqualification. Example, casual vacancy. Casual vacancy is also not that much complicated point. Huh? Company level disqualification, super. That is the complicated point. In company level disqualification, he will be disqualified for 5 years, but he is not supposed to vacate the office. Disqualification and vacancy both are different. That is one of the complicated point. And another complicated point is there in 164(1). Shall I say? Unpaid call money with respect to time period, 6 months is there. If a director fails to pay the call money and 6 months time has been elapsed, he is disqualified from that company only, not from any other companies. That is one of the tricky point. So today's session is completely dedicated to that kind of complicated points discussion. Actually, remuneration is that kind of complicated concept. So you have to be very careful in today's session. Clear? So you must listen carefully throughout this session. Listen carefully. First of all, before we'll talk about remuneration, let's talk about appointment. Let's talk about appointment. Sir, we are going to discuss about remuneration of MD or whole-time director or manager. Actually, we are going to discuss the remuneration which is allowable to whom? Managing director, whole-time director, manager. But before we will discuss the remuneration with respect to these three guys, we are supposed to discuss appointment of MD, appointment of whole-time director, appointment of manager. Sir, I think with respect to appointment we have already discussed, right sir? We have a table also. I know the appointment process, sir. Board of directors will appoint MD or whole-time director or manager. That is a partial point actually. That is not a complete fact. It is a partial truth. The actual concept lies in appointment, schedule number 5, part 1 of Companies Act. Schedule number 5, part 1 of Companies Act. Let's quickly discuss what does the schedule number 5 of part 1 says. Listen carefully. Schedule 5. Schedule 5. Part. Schedule 5 part 1 applies to each and every company. It may be private company, public company, listed company, unlisted company, section 8 company, government company, OPC, whatever the company it may be. Schedule 5 part 1 applies to each and every company. Schedule 5 part 1 applies to each and every company. Are you guys with me? Everybody is listening? I have already indicated the warning regarding today's session, that today's session is very, very important. Your active participation is much needed today. Okay, so participate. Schedule 5 part 1 applies to? Schedule 5 part 1 applies to every company. Okay, so first of all, coming to the concept of appointment of MD or appointment of WTD or appointment of manager. In order to appoint MD or WTD or manager, you have to check one point. What is that point is, what is the checklist is, you have to check whether those persons are satisfying Schedule 5 Part 1 or not. You have to check whether those intended directors, that means intended MD or intended WTD or intended manager, is satisfying Schedule 5 Part 1 or not. You have to check first and foremost. That is the checklist. Sir, what does this Schedule 5 Part 1 is saying, sir? Schedule 5 Part 1 is talking about 4 important points. 4 important points. I have already written. We will refer it in a quick way. This is all about Schedule 5 Part 1. Schedule 5 Part 1. So first point is no imprisonment or no penalty greater than 1,000 according to 16 acts actually. But what are all those 16 acts? You no need to remember. GST Act, Central Excise, Customs, Income Tax, lot of acts are all there, but you no need to remember those 16 acts. Okay, some authors are saying it is 19 acts, but you have to follow your board book only. In your board book, it is clearly mentioned as 16 acts. That is why we need to follow 16 acts. Okay, so how many points in Schedule 5 Part 1? How many important points are there? 4 points. Out of that 4 points, first point is the intended MD or WTD or manager, intended MD should never go under imprisonment, not even a single day. Imprisonment 6 months, 2 months, 3 months. No, not even a single day he shouldn't go under imprisonment. If he went under imprisonment, then he is not satisfying Schedule 5 Part 1. Sir, it means he is disqualified. Huh? No, no, no. Listen carefully. I am going to tell you in a clear way what we are going to do if he dissatisfied these 4 points or any one of the 4 points. That is why your attendance and active participation is very much needed in your in this today's session. So first point talks about imprisonment or penalty. Penalty 500 penalty okay, 600 penalty okay, 900 990 okay. But that penalty must not go beyond 1,000 or more. Sir, if 1,000 or more penalty imposes, what will happen? I am going to tell you. First of all, let's quickly read about what are all those 4 points. First point clear? First point clear? That intended MD or WTD or manager should not undergo imprisonment, not even a single day. Forget about months and weeks and all. Not even a single day is not allowed, imprisonment wise. And for penal provisions, penalty wise, he should not be levied with a penalty of 1,000 or more. First point clear? Coming to second point, no detention under Conservation of Foreign Exchange and Prevention of Smuggling Activities Act 1974. I am talking about detention. I am talking about detention. Just for inquiry or something else. Detention means authorities have called that person for inquiry or investigations or something likewise. He should not go any sort of inquiry or he should not be detained by this law. What is this law? Conservation of Foreign Exchange and Prevention of Smuggling Activities Act 1974. You have to remember this name. Is it possible to remember this act name? Conservation of Foreign Exchange and Prevention of Smuggling Activities Act 1974. 1974. Sir, if that person has been detained under this act, what will happen? I am going to tell you. Wait. First point and second point clear? What does first point says? He should not go under imprisonment, not even a single day. or should not be penalized for with a penalty of 1,000 or more. That is what first point says about. And the second point, he should not be detained under Conservation of Forex and Prevention of Smuggling Activities Act 1974. Clear? 2 points. Third point talks about his age must be 21 to 69. In order to appoint a person with age 70 or more in the position of MD, what is required? You remember that point, right? Listen carefully. So the person age must be above 21 or more, 69 or less. Sir, what will happen if that person age is 19? Or what will happen if the person age is 71 or 72? Wait. This is third point. First 3 points clear? What does first point says? No imprisonment or no penalty. Simply no imprisonment, no penalty. Second one, no detention under some act. Forget about that name. No detention under some act. Third point, age 21 to 69. And the fourth point is he must be a resident of India. Resident of India. I am intended to appoint my friend Mr. X as MD to my company. MD or whole-time director or manager, any of the position to my company. I wish to appoint Mr. X as MD to my company. But in my checklist, after checking these 4 points, he has deviated with this second point. Or he might have deviation with first point or third point or fourth point or all these 4 points. Then what we should do? We have to take the CG approval before appointment. What is CG? Central government. So if a person does not satisfied with the mentioned conditions under Schedule 5 or Part 1, then before appointment, the company must take the approval from central government before the appointment. Sir, how to take approval from central government? Simply you can file MR2. Simply you can file MR2 within 90 days. Just a minute. Simply, what does this box says? MR2 within 90 days. Within 90 days means? Within 90 days means if you have already appointed that kind of person, within 90 days you have to file MR2. You have to ask CG approval. Sir, I didn't appointed yet. I am planning to appoint, that's it. I didn't appoint it yet. Okay, well and good. Ask the approval from central government by filing MR2. Sir, central government will give the approval? Depends. If he deviated those provisions occasionally or only one deviation is there, depends. It all depends upon central government filtering process. It may give approval or it may not give approval. If central government doesn't give approval, you should not appoint that kind of person in any position, MD or WTD or manager. If central government gives approval, even though he is dissatisfying Schedule 5 Part 1, you can appoint that kind of person as MD or manager or WTD. Are we clear with discussion so far? Clear? This is all about first point. Appointment. Sir, Schedule 5 Part 1 applies to which companies? All companies, whether it may be private, public, unlisted, listed, government, Section 8, whatever the company it may be, applies to all companies. If person satisfies with Schedule 5 Part 1, is central government approval is required for appointment? No, you can appoint by way of simply passing a resolution. Sir, how an MD or WTD or manager will be appointed? So all these days I simply said that board of directors can appoint MD, board of directors can appoint WTD or manager. Yes, this is all partial truths. What is the complete fact is, yes, board of directors can appoint MD, WTD, manager. No doubt in it. It is fact only. But after appointment, after appointment, those board of directors have to seek the approval from shareholders in the next general meeting. Sir, is there any time limit? No time limit. Whatever the general meeting which they need to hold after the appointment. Sir, say for example, this is July month, right? In July, I have appointed MD. In whole of July month, no meetings. Whole of August, no meetings. September, no meetings. October, no meeting. November, we held EGM. In November, we held EGM. In that EGM, I should ratify my decision. We have already taken the decision with respect to appointment of MD or manager, right? We have passed board resolution also. So we have to ratify that decision before members in EGM. Sir, in November also no meeting, sir. Somewhere around in December or January, in February, somewhere around you have to convene AGM, right? Yeah. Anyway, you have to meet, right? So in that meeting, you have to seek the approval from members. Sir, what if my members rejected my decision? Simply they have to vacate the office. What is the complicated point in it? If members don't accept for the appointment, simply the intended director or appointed MD or WTD is there, na? They have to simply vacate the office. Clear? Listen carefully. Now you will get the clarity. Follow the handwritten notes in utmost careful way. First of all, schedule 5 is there. In schedule 5, how many parts? 2 parts. Part 1 talks about, part 2 talks about. Actually, our today's topic is, then why I am discussing about part 1? Why? Because without knowing appointment process, there is no point in discussing remuneration point. That is why I am discussing part 1 first. Clear? So schedule 5 part 1. What does schedule 5 part 1 says about with respect to appointment of MD, WTD, manager? Approvals are required. So what kind of approvals are required depends upon schedule 5 part 1. If the person satisfies, SAT means satisfies. If the person satisfies schedule 5 part 1, then let's check about whether the appointment is done by members or appointment is done by board of directors. Let's check. If the appointment is done by members, ordinary resolution is sufficient. The original appointment is doing by members, right? Then why ratification is needed? No ratification is needed. Why? Because the MD itself has been appointed by members only. Do you remember our yesterday's discussion? In yesterday's discussion, general business is there. I think ordinary business is there. Ordinary business, 4 points. How many of you remember those 4 points? Please raise your hands. 4 points. 4 points, tell me. Very good. Appointment of auditors. Appointment of auditors. This is the point which I need. What is the ordinary business for a shareholder to do in a general meeting? Appointment of directors, right? But sometimes the time may permits, but sometimes the time may not permits. If time permits, members only appoint MD, WTD, manager. Members only appoint. If time does not permits or proper applications has not been received, then members will delegate their power to board of directors. Okay, we are running out of time, or we don't find proper expertise persons. We are delegating the power to appoint MD to you only. So you please find a suitable person and appoint MD, WTD, manager only. But as per law, who needs to appoint MD? Members actually. That is why BOD will appoint and BOD will ratify their decision in the next general meeting. The next general meeting, when they are going to held, no time limit has been mentioned by Companies Act. By whatever time, it may be 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 1 year. At next general meeting, they have to ratify their decision which they have taken with respect to appointment of MD or manager or whole-time director. This is the actual process. Forget about everything. So far discussion, forget about directors, KMP, forget about everything. Some people are saying, sir, we already forgot. Huh? Okay, listen carefully. Answer to my questions by using common sense, not using law, Companies Act section, this section, that section. Answer my questions by using simple common sense. Who are the owners of the company? Huh? Members, shareholders, both are same. I'm finding 3 to 4 students. I think they are passively listening the class. I'm getting some sort of irritation by watching their faces. 3 to 4 faces. One of the director is woman director. Huh? Okay. I have already informed at the beginning of the class. For today's class, your active participation is much needed. I'm not finding that spark in this class. Being it is last session, all are tired. But anyway, you have to participate in the class. No excuses. Listen carefully. This is not foundation class or inter class, right? If you guys are foundation or inter, there may be some sort of excuses. Now, final, no excuses. Listen carefully. Stand, all of you. Now answer the questions. Everybody? Okay. I'm unable to see some. Okay. Now, okay, clear. Who are the owners of the company? Members or shareholders? Everybody got clarity with respect to this answer, right? Actually, who need to direct the company? Members only. But active participation by members is not practically possible. That is why members will appoint whom? Board of directors. For what? For directing the company in a correct way. That is the main work of directors, right? So directors are the agents or trustees of the members. Clear? So who has the responsibility to appoint directors? Owners. That means members. That means shareholders only got the responsibility to appoint directors. Clear? Out of all directors, who are the crucial directors? These 3 persons. But 3 persons parallelly might not be there. If manager is there, MD should not be there. Manager plus WTD possible. MD plus WTD possible. MD plus manager not possible. I have already discussed about these points in earlier sessions. Having multiple managing directors not allowed. Having MD plus manager parallelly not allowed. Or having CEO. Companies Act don't know about CEO word. You may introduce the tagline to any person. You may call your watchman as CEO. Nowadays, everybody is calling themselves as CEO. I'm CEO of India. Like, whatever. Everybody is called themselves as CEO. No problem. Why? Because Companies Act don't know about the concept of CEO. That is a Western community word. So, not a big deal. Sir, MD plus CEO possible? Might be possible. Why? Because no hard and fast rule with respect to CEO. Okay, we are deviating the discussion. CEO, forget about CEO. So, who are the crucial directors? MD, WTD, manager. So, who has the responsibility to appoint MD, WTD, manager? Shareholders only. So if shareholders have the time in the meeting or shareholders find the suitable applications for appointment, they will simply appoint in the general meeting only. In the general meeting, either it may be AGM or EGM. But if shareholders unable to find suitable persons, or if time does not permissible in AGM or EGM, what they will do? What they will do? Members will simply transfer their responsibility to directors. My dear directors, time is not permissible, or we are unable to find suitable applications for the position of MD, manager, or WTD. You please find suitable persons and appoint. Then directors will ask a written question. We don't have the authority. We are giving the authority in next meeting. When we are going to hold our next meeting? Nobody knows. It may be next month only, or 3 months, 4 months, any months. So after your appointment, in our next meeting, we are going to ratify your decision. If we don't ratify your decision, that so-called appointed MD or WTD or manager will vacate the office simply. What's the big deal in it? Clear? Clear? So now follow the handwritten notes which is appearing in the TV screen. First of all, listen carefully. First of all, with respect to appointment, appointment is done by members. How members will appoint directors? Ordinary resolution only. That is why I have written OR. Clear? Everybody? Second one. If appointment is done by BOD, is it possible to appoint, is it possible for BOD to appoint MD? Yes, it is quite possible. Who has given that authority? Shareholders only given that authority. That is why board of directors is capable of appointing MD or WTD or manager. So what kind of resolutions are required? BR plus OR. What is BR? Board resolution. When this board resolution will be passed? At board meeting. By stating so and so Mr. X is appointed as MD, Mr. Y is appointed as WTD. Likewise, they will simply pass board resolution, and with respect to this decision taken in the board meeting, they will ratify the decision in upcoming members meeting through OR. Through OR. What is OR? Ordinary resolution. Clear? Clear? Why I am saying this topic is very important topic. You please understand the significance of this topic. Very, very important. 90 to 95% students will tend to confusion in this topic. That is why I am repeating in multiple times. Next one. If the so-called MD or WTD or manager fails to satisfy Schedule 5 Part 1, I think you forgot Schedule 5 Part 1, 4 points. You remember those 4 points? Everybody? Sit down once. Who remember that Schedule 5 Part 1, 4 points? Who can answer those 4 points? Where is that Banksino? Yeah. Okay. Right. What are those 4 points? First point? No imprisonment and no penalty. Very good. Super. Imprisonment is for how many days? Not even single day also not allowed. Okay. You must not go under imprisonment. At the same point of time, you must not be penalized. But less than 1,000 penalty is okay. That is all about first point. Very good. Excellent. Second point. Forex and Prevention of Smuggling Activities Act. Very good. Nice participation. Second point is clear. Third point. Age. Okay. Age must be 21 to 69. Fourth point, resident. Excellent. Sit down. So these are the 4 points mentioned in Schedule 5 Part 1. If that person is able to satisfy Schedule 5 Part 1, no need to seek CG approval. So either this appointment or this appointment is well off. But that so-called Andagadu, that so-called handsome person, that MD or manager or WTD, if fail to satisfy Schedule 5 Part 1, then there is another task. BR, OR not sufficient. After BR, OR is not sufficient. You have to pass SR. Along with SR, you have to take CG approval. First of all, board resolution. Second, special resolution. Sir, generally for appointment of directors, we will use ordinary resolution only, right? But in case of this appointment, we have to pass special resolution. Why? Because this is not a ordinary case. This is an extraordinary case. Why it is an extraordinary case? That so-called handsome person failed to satisfy Schedule 5 Part 1. Even though he is not satisfying Schedule 5 Part 1, why you are insisting on that person only? For the place of you, why you are considering that person only for MD position or manager position or WTD position? That is why justification is required. That is why ordinary resolution is not sufficient. Now I need special resolution. Special resolution. Sir, special resolution enough? No. After passing board resolution plus special resolution, CG approval is required. Sir, how can I obtain CG approval? By simply filing MR2. Sir, when I should file MR2? Either before appointment or after appointment. Before appointment, no time limit. Why? Because you have not even appointed that person. But after appointment, there is a time limit, that is 90 days. The form number is MR2. 90 days. Sir, in how many days CG will give approval? Nobody knows. Generally, it will take several weeks. 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Sometimes 1 week, 4 days maybe they might give approval. Nobody knows. There is no hard and fast rule with respect to that decision. No deemed approvals. Listen carefully. If application has been filed and 30 days has been passed and no rejection received from central government, it is deemed as approval. No. No deemed approval concept. Central government must give approval with respect to that appointment. You have to take the appointment. What is the best case scenario means? Before appointment, you should take approval from CG. Clear? So far discussion. This all handwritten notes understandable? Everybody. So you guys are saying you know the appointment process of MD or WTD or manager. I can understand like that. You guys know the process of appointment of MD or WTD or manager. Yes. Who has the appointing authority in first place? Members. They will appoint simply by passing ordinary resolution. Oh, no. First of all, you have to check Schedule 5 Part 1. Sorry. Mistake is mine. Schedule 5 Part 1 you have to check. Whether he satisfies Schedule 5 Part 1 or not. Yes, sir, he satisfied. Maya, 50% work is done. 50% work is done. Being he is satisfying Schedule 5 Part 1, no CG approval is required. That is why in meeting, if members wish to appoint in the meeting, OR is sufficient. If board is intending to appoint the MD or WTD or manager, just BR and OR is sufficient. BR will be passed right now and OR will be passed at next meeting. When the next meeting is going to be held? No time limit prescribed by Companies Act. So next AGM or next EGM, you have to ratify the decision. If shareholders approved, okay, no problem. If shareholders rejected, that person has to vacate the office on immediate basis. Clear? Sir, that person is not satisfying Schedule 5 Part 1, sir. Now there is a complicacy. Being that person is not satisfying Schedule 5 Part 1, you have to take state government approval. State government approval. Central government approval through the form MR1, MR3, sorry, MR2 within 180 days, within 90 days from expiry of sentence. What is sentence? What is expiry? 90 days from appointment. You can take approval from CG also even before appointment. There is no time limit for it. But if you have already appointed that kind of dissatisfied person, you have to file for approval within 90 days from the appointment through the form MR2. Clear? Everybody? No doubt in it, right? I can assume like that. Okay, if you say yes, I will be always on that assumption only. Okay. Next one. This one. Read it out. Members won't ratify the appointment. I have already told it, right? What will happen? Nothing will happen. He has to vacate the office. If ratifies, appointment completes. So just after appointment completes, you have to do, intimate to ROC in MR1. The time limit is 60 days. MR1 time limit is 60 days. Listen carefully. Some students might got confusion with respect to MR1. Sir, out of nowhere MR1 came. We don't listen. So far in discussion MR1, that point not came. Suddenly all of a sudden, you know about DIR 12, right? DIR 12. What not? Any sort of change in directors you have to intimate to ROC with respect to in MCA filings through DIR 12, right? DIR 12 applicable for all directors, independent director, executive director, non-executive director. But for MD, for manager, for whole-time director, a special form is there. That special form is MR1. And MR1 will be used only for the appointment intimation. Only for the appointment intimation. Nothing other than that. There is a big difference between DIR 12 and MR1. What is the big difference? Anybody knows? In case of DIR 12, any sort of change you will intimate. Director died, DIR 12. Director disqualified, DIR 12. Director became unsound mind. Director became insolvent. Director did not pay call money and 6 months has been elapsed. Director maximum number of directorships reached. Company level disqualification. What not? Every change in director you have to intimate through DIR 12. But MR1 is applicable only for appointment intimation. Only for appointment intimation. That too, appointment intimation of only, what are those three persons? Who are those three persons? MD. This is the new point. At the beginning of session only, I have intimated to all of you that today's session is going to be a very complicated session. You have to write or you have to remember a lot from this session. Nothing to worry. We will share all these handwritten notes and regular notes also. Nothing to worry. Even though you are not writing anything, nothing to worry. But if you remember those points, it will be very good for your preparation only. Clear? For what purpose MR1 is used? Only for intimation of appointment with respect to MD, WTD, manager. Now, some clever students will get doubt. Sir, who decided this deadline, sir? MR1 deadline is 60 days, but MR2 deadline is 90 days. How it is possible, sir? Listen carefully. If you answer this question, now I am going to ask one question. If you answer this question, you have understood the so far discussion. Which form will be filed earlier, MR2 or MR1? Which form will be filed earlier, MR1 or MR2? MR1 or MR2? MR? No doubt. MR2. Everybody is saying MR2. No doubts in it? Can I log these answers? Nobody is going to change the answer, right? MR2. Pakka? Yes, MR2. Batikincharu meer. MR2, any company, if a person is not able to satisfy Schedule 5 Part 1, of course, the central company needs to take CG approval, right? That is why MR2 will be filed first. Sir, there is a confusion in this point. Say, for example, imagine a scenario. What does this scenario say? Say, for example, there is a company called X Limited. You wish to appoint Mr. A as MD to that company, and MD is not satisfying Schedule 5 Part 1. Schedule 5 Part 1. But you have appointed that person as MD. Is it possible? Yes, possible. Appointment is okay, no problem. But after appointment, you have to seek the approval from CG within 90 days through the form. MR2. What is the other point is saying? MR1 intimation. MR1 intimation. Listen carefully. Listen carefully. I will write it down so that it will be beneficial for upcoming discussion also. What is the company name? Listen carefully. No need to write anything. Listen carefully. What is the company name? We wish to appoint Mr. A as MD to the company. But Mr. A is not in satisfaction with Schedule 5 Part 1. Then what we need to do? We need to take the approval of CG before the appointment through the form MR2 within 90 days from appointment. So we have successfully appointed Mr. A as MD through board resolution. Now what we need to do? We have to pass special resolution in the meeting, but meeting is not going to be held right now. There is a time for holding the meeting. So forget about special resolution, and we need to take CG approval through MR2 within. So on 87th day, listen carefully. On 87th day, company filed MR2 seeking CG approval. Company filed MR2 seeking CG approval. Why company is asking CG approval? Why? Because that Monda Koduku is not satisfying Schedule 5 Part 1. How many points are there? 4 points. I hope you all remember that 4 points, right? Again and again I am asking. Those are all very important points. So, being that person is not satisfying Schedule 5 Part 1, we have to seek CG approval. On 87th day, they have intimated CG for the approval. After 30 days, CG gave approval. 30 days. 87. So, since his appointment, how many days has been passed? 87 plus 30. Week in max, huh? 117 days has been passed. 117 days has been passed. So, everybody in the company feeling relaxed. Why? Because CG gave approval. Yeah, relaxed. So, on 118th day, 118th day, on 118, company filed MR1. Why a company will file MR1? Regarding the intimation of appointment in the position of MD or WTD or manager. How many days has been passed after the appointment? 118 days has been passed. In how many days you need to give the appointment? You have to give the intimation. MR1 deadline is how many days, ma? MR1 deadline is 60 days. But you are intimating MCA, intimating to ROC on 118 day. Is it amounts to deviation of rules, right? It will amount to deviation of rules. But there is a relaxation in this provision. Why the delay happened? Because you went for CG approval and somewhat delay happened. That is why MCA will relax about this delay and will not MCA is not going to penalize you for this delay. You have to intimate by 60th day, but 118 days has been passed. Actually, you need to pay the penalty, but in practical scenario, they will leave you. This is the Confucius point with respect to filing. Here they are saying 60 days, but here they are saying 90 days. And 90 days is not fixed. After 90 days, 91st day, central government is going to give you approval. Central government is going to take its own sweet time for giving the approval. It may give approval or it may not give approval. It may take weeks or it may take months for the approval. You never know how many days central government will take for the approval. So that is why even though a delay happened for filing MR1, it is for good only. Nothing wrong in it. MCA will not going to penalize you for the delay. Clear? Actually, if by 60 days, if you fail to file MR1, you will be attracted with penalty. But that penal provisions will not apply here. This is all about, just a minute, this is all about appointment. No. Those two more points are also there. These are the 2 points which we will quickly read out. I think if you understand about appointment, it is enough for today. If I say remuneration today, you are going to mix up the khichdi. You're going to forget everything. Why? Because remuneration is one more tricky session, one more tricky concept. So, okay, no problem. I am going to cover remuneration tomorrow morning. On a fresh basis, we will cover. Listen carefully. We will wind up session after completion of this discussion. Listen carefully. Have you ever read about disqualification of directors? 164.1, 164.2, 164.3. All the disqualification mentioned in 164 equally applicable to MD, manager, whole-time director. Along with 164 section, 2 more points will be additionally applicable, bonus points. In order to act as MD or WTD or manager, apart from 164 satisfaction, you have to satisfy 2 more points also. These are the 2 points. First one, you are not suspended payment to creditors, or you have not entered composition scheme with creditors. If you have entered any composition scheme with your creditors, or if you have suspended payment to your creditors, it indicates your inefficiency in management, right? Yes or no? Say for example, you bought a car and within 1 week only you made 5 accidents. After purchasing the car, within 5 days only you have met with 5 accidents. Forget about whose mistake it is. You met with 5 accidents means either your time is bad or you are lacking driving skills. Okay. Now, your friend recently bought another brand new car. Is he going to give you that that car for you for driving purpose or demo purpose or for casual driving purposes? Definitely not. Why? Why? Because your track record has been already proved. Just now your track record has been proved. 5 accidents in 7 days. It indicates your inefficiency in driving. In the same way, we are considering some X as appointment of MD. But recently that Andagadu entered into composition scheme with creditors, and that handsome fellow suspended payment to creditors. That is a beautiful thing. It indicates his inefficiency in running the company. Right? Then he is disqualified to act as MD or manager or WTD. Listen carefully. Whatever the disqualifications mentioned in 164 is equally applicable. Along with 164 disqualifications, some 2 more points are applicable. Out of the 2 points, 1 point is like this. You must not suspend payment to your creditors, or you must not enter composition scheme with your creditors. You know about composition scheme? In foundation level, you wrote journal entries, right? In journal entries, say for example, X become insolvent and only 25 paisa in a rupee has been recovered from his estate. You forgot about journal entries? X owes 1000 to us. X owes 1000 to us. And X become insolvent. X owes 1000 to us means X is a debtor to us. So X is a current asset category. X is a current asset item. But X became insolvent and only 25 paisa in a rupee has been recovered from his estate. It means only 250 rupees has been recovered from X and 750 Gandhigar Kata. Bad debts. So cash account 250, bad debts 750, 2x 1000. X has to cancel, right? So that is why X is a debit balance. In order to cancel, we are crediting Mr. X account to the tune of 1000. Likewise, in the same way, so that is what composition scheme means. So if you owe 1000 rupee or you owe 100 rupee, but you are entered into a final agreement stating that you are not going to repay that 100 rupee, and proportionately this percentage I am going to repay, and remaining percentage you have to leave me. That is what we call composition scheme. If you have entered any sort of composition scheme with your creditors, or you have suspended payment to your creditors, that indicates your inefficiency in running the company. That is why you are not eligible to appoint as MD or manager or WTD in the company, in the further companies. Clear? And the last disqualification is convicted for more than or equal to 6 months. Lifetime disqualification. This is lifetime disqualification. No, sir. I have already read about conviction schemes less than 6 months, no disqualification. 6 months to 7 years, 5 years disqualification. More than 7 years, only lifetime disqualification appears. Yes, that is also correct. That disqualification is for the position of normal directors. Any director other than MD, manager, WTD. But in order to act as MD, in order to act as manager, or in order to act as WTD, you must not undergo imprisonment for a period of 6 months or more. Why we are saying separate disqualifications for MD, WTD means they are having substantial powers over the company. Yesterday we read out that material, right? Manager or MD will be having substantial powers over the company. WTD is also having substantial powers, but not along with full company. He's going to have substantial powers with respect to that allotted division, allotted segment only. In order to give that powerful position, you must be a good person, right? So along with 164 disqualification, these two disqualification are also equivalently applicable to act as MD or WTD or manager. Are we clear? Yes or no? No participation. I will not close this session until you all participate in a good way, active way. Yes or no? Huh? Suddenly I am receiving next one. Appointment. MD or WTD or manager can be appointed for a maximum tenure of 5 years at a time. They can be continued afterwards, but single appointment tenure cannot exceed more than 5 years. I have a company. I wish to appoint my friend, living legend, as managing director for a period of 50 years. Is he going to live for another 50 years? I don't know. He also don't know. But I am going to appoint him as director, MD, for coming 50 years. Is it possible to do so? Even though I'm liking my friend to the full extent, it is not possible. Possible only up to 5 years in a single appointment. Afterwards, I can renew. And for renewal also there is a point. I can renew, but only before 1 year before the expiry of that agreement or contract, whatever we call. It means 2020 I have appointed. When that agreement is going to expire, for 5 years I have appointed. When that agreement is going to expire, 2025. So 2024 or 2025, in these 2 years only, I have to renew that appointment. Can I renew that appointment even before 2 years left for the agreement time? And I mean to say, in 2022, am I supposed to renew that agreement? No. It is possible to renewal. It is possible for renewal only before 1 year. Only before I have appointed MD till 5 years and 4 years time has been passed. He is in last 1 year of his agreement. I am going to renew that agreement for coming 5 years also. Am I supposed to do it? Am I supposed to do it? Yes, I can supposed to do it. Why? Because I have originally appointed for 5 years and 4 years has been elapsed. He will be left with only 1 year tenure. If I am not going to renew now, he will search for another alternatives. Other companies are ready and willing to join that person as MD. Why I am going to lose that experienced person? So that is why I can renew, but only before 1 year only. I have appointed a person as MD for 5 years and 4.5 years has been completed. Last 6 months is there in agreement terms. Now I wish to renew that person's agreement or that person's contract for another 5 years. Can I do so? Yes, I can do so. Why? Because in last 1 year at any point of time I can do. In last 1 year. The only point is before 1 year I can't do. Say for example, I have appointed a person for 5 years and 3 years passed only 3 years. What is the leftover tenure? 2 years is there na? So I should not renew right now. I can renew only in the last year phase. I can renew at any point of time in the last year. This is the point. Reappointment should be done only before 1 year. Read it out. Only before 1 year. Only before. So in 2023 we appointed for 5 years. In 2028 that agreement is going to expire. When we can renew this? Is it possible to renew 2024? 5, 6, 7? We can renew it. Okay. I think you got the clarity with respect to appointment of MD, appointment of WTD, appointment of manager. Actually, we are going to discuss, we plan to discuss remuneration, but the session has been successfully completed with appointment discussion only. But no problem. Time is not the criteria. We are well within our budgeted hours only. We are not wasting time by discussion something else XYZ. This crucial discussion is much needed. Why? Because if a practical question has been framed in appointment or remuneration, 90% of the students will give wrong answers only. Practical cases are very much required, very much prone to ask from examination point of view. Okay, so this is all about appointment. Tomorrow morning, I think 7 to 8:30, 8:15. 8:30, 7 to 8:30 in tomorrow morning session we are going to discuss about remuneration. Tomorrow morning, as and when you guys came, I'm going to ask questions with respect to appointment of MD, appointment of WTD and manager. Are you going to answer the questions? Any doubts? Any doubts? You are discussing something with that person. No cooling period. For MDs, WTD, no cooling period will be applicable. We can renew so long as they are willing to work with us. So, are we clear with the so far structure of directors and KMP? Anybody is having any sort of confusion with respect to the chapter? We are unable to digest that topic. We are unable to understand this topic. Any doubts? Any doubts? So, once again, I am going to discuss. This is the total structure of the directors chapter. Okay. Appointment of independent director for second term. Appointment. Okay. Same way. Nothing doing. So, for the sake of removal, you might be in second term or third term or first term. It makes no difference. You can remove in the same way by following the rules mentioned. It means 1% voting that person is there, or 5 lakhs holding share capital. They have to intimate the company before 14 days of holding the meeting, and they can simply remove by passing a ordinary resolution. So this is the so far structure. Directors, minimum maximum, types of directors, qualifications and disqualification, appointment, reappointment and rotation, DIN, resignation and removal, remuneration. These things we didn't completed yet. We are going to complete in upcoming sessions. Clear? Let's close this session. Good night.